Welcome to the Uptiquing Painting and Ceramics porch board with a snowman. What you're going to need are your paints on a paper plate that we gave you, a couple of baby wipes that we gave you. You'll receive 3 brushes. You're going to need a spatula or a credit card to put the vinyl lettering down, which is right here, and then also and then you'll also get the vinyl. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the baby wipe method to stain our board. The baby wipes are obviously moist, and so those will help to glide the paint along the board. So we're going to put this aside for now. And we have our brown and black. You're going to take a little brown and a little black depending on how deep you want your board. And we are just going to smooth this paint all over the board. So if your paint stops spreading, it's because your baby wipe has gotten a little dry or you don't have enough paint. We're going to do the whole board. You can leave some of the wood coming through. It kind of gives it a barn wood rustic look. And you don't have to get caught up on how much is covered down here because that will be covered by the snow itself. So if you want to cover it, you'll want to get your edges. Work in the direction of the grain. It's a nice one. You'll find that the wood is a little coarse, and that's also just to give it this barn wood look. If it was really smooth, we wouldn't get the same effect. You're also going to turn your board and get the edges. You don't have to get them really, really solid. You just want to not have so much of the light pine look on it. Once you're done with your baby wipes, you're going to take your board over to your hair dryer and dry it off. Okay, so we're back. So now we're going to give ourselves an outline of our snowman so that we can then paint him in. You're going to take your stencil and put it up in the upper left-hand corner just for placement so that we can get an angle of where our snowman is going. So you have 3 brushes in there. We're going to take the angled size brush and put it in the upper right-hand corner. So that is just going to give us a little idea of how far down our hat starts from. So we'll put it right there. We're going to take our other paints now, and we're going to start with a little bit of white. We're going to take your small brush, and we're going to make a series of dots. So you have the first dot here, which is the bottom of the hat that's near the board. And then that comes up on an angle. So you're going to take that same angle here, and the hat is almost in the middle. So you're going to make another dot. And then we're going to go down on an angle this way towards the welcome. And you're going to make another dot right here at the bottom of the ribbon. Okay. So then just so that you can see where we're going with this, you're going to round the dots with a line. Righty. And it's just for placement right now, so don't get too hung up on the shape. Then we're gonna make another 3 dots, 1, 2, 3, kind of the same that we did here. This is about 1 inch, and you're gonna come over to the welcome sign. And then down here for the hat, for the bottom of the brim. If I'm going too fast, you can start and stop or stop and start, I should say, the video. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna round that, all right? And now we have the part that goes around the top of the snowman's head. So that's gonna be a little bit of an arch. I'm gonna arch it down. And then we're gonna mimic this line right here. So this is the brim, and then you're gonna make one more line right here. And this right here is the ribbon. So now we have the first snowman, the first snowball of the snowman. So you can see that there's a bit of a distance here, right? It's a little bit more than the bristles. So you can give yourself a dot again, so that you don't exceed that. We do want to have some room there so that the nose is off of the snowman's face, but does not exceed the board. And we're going to put a dot down here and then a dot there. So that is just giving you an idea of how you want to angle this. So we're going to start up at the top, and again, it's not a forever shape, it's just a guide. And go around. If you feel it's too flat when we're stenciling, you could round them up. All right, and then you can see here, we have another shape right there. So we are going to make a happy face down here. And this guy kind of comes off and then comes back around. And then the bottom snowman is just, the snowball, the snowman is just all filled in. Alrighty, so we have the shape right here, and we have a smiley face here and a smiley face here for the ribbon. So we're just so that you have an idea, it's gonna end up getting sponged over, but just so you have an idea. And then I'm not exactly thrilled with that circle there, so if you want, you can just kind of give them a little bit of a detail there. All right, so we're gonna put our pointy brush in our water. You're gonna keep your gloves on that came with the kit, and you did receive a sponge. So now this is here where we are going to sponge our snowman. Okay, so when you put your sponge into your white, just be careful that you don't grab any of the other colors that are around it. So you can see as we start this, we have some areas that are covered a little on the lighter side with the sponging, and a little areas that are covered a little bit heavier. So we're just gonna start going around. So make sure when you do this, you don't sponge in the same direction, otherwise it'll look like little bird footprints in the snow. So you're just gonna kind of move it around and get all over. You're gonna go a little bit above the brim there. And depending on, how you have the angle of your sponge will depend on how it sponges over it. You can cover your line a little bit and keep going over it. So that's getting a little full. You can see it right in there. And everything that you do, you want to work in the round. You don't want to stencil straight across. Make sure you move your angle of your hand there. And you can turn your sponge around so it's not the same prints all the time. does take a little time to get it where you want it to be. But it's a forever piece, so sometimes you might have to stand back a little bit from it. And so that kind of looks a little bit like that. Okay. Like I said, they'll look different each time, so don't panic. So we have this snow right here, and it kind of looks like it's almost on top of that one, so we just want to make sure it's nice and dense. Nice and saturated in color. I'm not too worried about up here because that's going to be the scarf. Okay, now I'm going to work on the bottom a little bit. You know, I want to have a little bit of a change between here and what's going on here. So just make sure that whatever's right next to that is a little lighter in the sponging. Really a fun little piece. So that it does look different than what's going on here. So just tighten that up a little bit, maybe a little bit more concentrated. Working around. So that also looks like this guy down here is round. Liking it. Okay, pretty happy with that so far. Get one more hit up here. So I am going to take a break and blow dry this. I'm going to put my sponge down because we are going to use it again. We're going to put these aside. We're not going to need them right this second. And we're going to blow dry. So now we can use either our large brush or our angled brush. And we're going to take some black and we're going to do his hat. So if you want, you can leave this back over here just as a guide. Just try not to get any paint on it. And we are going to outline his hat. We're going to go over the black so that it doesn't look like it is outlined in white. Even over that ribbon. We'll get that top again after. And then you're just going to fill it in. No rhyme or reason. Just fill it in. If your hand is a little wiggly, that's okay. It's a whimsical painting. It shouldn't be super straight. Brush a little bit. If your white is coming through under there, don't worry. Mine is a little bit. I'm not worried about it. I think it looks good. It's re-wetting and kind of tracking in there. That's okay. you're gonna wanna put that big brush in the water. And then the next thing we're gonna do is work on the ribbon while that hat dries. So we're going to find that snowball again over there, that first snowball. We're gonna take our medium, our angled brush, and we're gonna hold it perpendicular. So it's, and also sideways. And we are going to find that chin. And it does come out a little bit from the snowball. And go like that. And then mimic that same half circle that you made, that smiley face. And then you're going to fill it in. Straight green we're using. And it's okay if you see some of the white beneath it. We're going to go darker. I just want to get this first coat on. Okay. And then we can go to our pointy brush, and we're going to make these tails of the scarf. So first we're going to make a circle in the middle. It's a little bit to the left of the entire snowman. It's going to exceed the scarf, two smiley faces that we made. And you're going to take that medium brush again and just kind of make a circle out of it, just so we know where that is on that green. Go back to this pointy brush, and we're going to make an S. It's kind of a flattened out S. So you're going to start from the corner where the knot meets the rope, the scarf that goes around his neck. And you're going to make a flattened S. So you're going to come to the left, you're going to go back to the right, and then back to the left. And then you're going to do the same thing with this one. Start over here, and then you're going to kind of just keep that tail on the end. So I'm going to use the bigger brush so that you can see that. And over here. And then these are just little wisps. And we'll fill that also with green. And again, it's just our first layer. Don't worry about it. Fast paint. You don't have to worry about being exact. Okay. And then we have the other one. That guy kind of goes the other way now, opposite S. So we're going to start at the corner there. Goes out, comes back, and it goes out again. Okay. Fill that in. So now you can see we have a little fold in each one. The two colors we're going to be adding are black and white. So we're going to start with the black first. I'm not washing my brushes. I'm going to keep a little bit of black, and it's going to come over like that. So we're starting on the edge, crossing over the scarf to the other side. And then this one's going to do the same thing. Start on the edge, cross over the scarf. Oops. Back. Edge, cross over the scarf to the other side. Alright, so we can add a little tiny bit of black to our to our green on our brush. And don't worry if it looks really black, we're going to go back over it. I'm using the big brush. We can even add a little bit of white. So get some white in this guy down here. This is the other part of it, just to, so you have some difference in tone there. Switch brushes and just get that line a little bit perfected. Over here, you can add a tiny little black to darken your green up. Tiny, tiny, like a pin drop of black, because it'll go black fast. Also got a little white if you want. Some light strokes in that. A little flowy. It just depends how much you want to add in there. You want your strokes to be really long. Now we're going to do the scarf up here. We're going to add a little black just to deepen that green. And we're going to pull that across. And if you're not loving the black, you don't have to do it. You can always add some white into it. And it's okay if you see a little bit of the white come through, it adds texture to it. I like it. Some harder edges of white in there, you can. Totally up to you. While your paint is wet, it will blend. So it's a good opportunity to add some color in there. Okay, so we're going to wash our brush, dry it off, and we're going to go straight in with the black. Washing all my brushes so they're not sitting in the water. Okay, so we're going to add some accents of black in there. So I have one right on the edge there, another little one right here, and out here. So again, you can start and stop your video if it's going too fast. All right. So now we have two little buttons here. So you're going to have your pointy brush, make sure it stays pointy. And it's just a little implied button. It's not a perfect circle. So you're just going to start from the center and then wiggle around. So about where you want it. I'm going to put it right here. Start from the center and wiggle around. Doesn't even have to be totally covered. And then I think I'm going to put one down here because here I have a bigger opening. So I might go down here. Where should I go here? I guess I'll go right here. Okay? And now we're going to do the same thing with the eyes. So what I want you to do is make sure your brush is clean and dry. And I want you to put your brush at the angle that your nose would be. So I'm going to say my nose will be like that. So then I'm going to take my brush and I'm going to make two dots. this is going to be the arch right here. So I make 2 dots. And 1 more. And I'm going to do the same thing that I did with the button. Out of ovals. Together. And then I'm going to just take a little white and I'm going to make a little V in the middle. Does not have to be neat, just a little V. Okay? And I'm going to wash my brush. Okay, and I did forget that. Alrighty, so we're going to work on the nose. So at the end of that point, we're going to make a little half circle. Right there. Alright, so that reflects this shape right here. And then I'm going to make a point over here of where I want my nose to end. So you don't want it to go off the board. So I have a point there. And no carrot is super straight, so make a line, kind of wiggle your hand a little bit, it makes it interesting. And the point of the carrot is rounded, so we're going to round that, and then we're going to come down here. Alright, so now we're going to use our angled brush, and we're going to fill this in all with orange. So remember, you're not going to go this way, and you're not going to go straight, you're going to work on an angle, because the carrot is round. So the top of the carrot is a little lighter than the bottom of the carrot because of the natural light. We're going to add a little yellow while our paint is wet. I didn't wash my brush. Into the top of the carrot and pull it down. And as you go over it, it'll blend a little bit more. Don't worry if you put too much yellow, because you can always go back and put a little orange on it. Starting to take shape. And then on the bottom, you're going to take a tiny little bit of red, and you're going to pull that red up. Not washing my brush. And if you wanted to, you could take some straight orange in the middle. Just round it out a little bit. Alright, so that guy's done. We're going to wash our brush. We're going to go back to our sponge. We're going to take a tiny little bit of white on there, and we're going to give some fuzz along the edge of our hat. Should be dry. Alright, looking good, looking good. Alright. We're done with our sponge now. So now we're going to work on the top, which is the ribbon. So my ribbon is red and white. We're going to take the pointy brush and you're going to draw your red ribbon. It does exceed a little bit there. You can almost see the lines prior that we made. So you're going to make, just reiterate your lines again. Get them a little darker so you can see them. And then we're going to fill that area in using our angled brush. So it's not a very big area. So use your angled brush, and we're going to fill it in with red. And you'll see some of that texture coming through from the board, but we want that. It looks good. We're almost done here. Okay, so we have that red on, and then we're going to take a little bit of white, and we're just going to streak it in there. So the more you go over it, the colors will blend and it will become a little bit more pink. So if you don't like that pink, you can go back and use some red on top of it. I'll show you how that looks. Just 1 second. So go back, just put some strokes of red in it. You just want to give one stroke, because if you keep doing it, it will turn pink again. Okay, and then I'm going to go back and grab some white. You notice I'm not washing my brush. I'm going to get some highlights to this. Okay. I'm okay with that, and I did fit a little bit. We are going to put a little bit of snow around the edges here. So you are going to take your brush, just kind of make the background not so boring looking. You want to get a real concentration of it. You can get a little on the hat. Make sure you don't hit your red, because you don't want to grab any of that. Okay. Now the only thing we have left to do is to draw the face and some of these, the smile and some of the highlights. So we are going to use our small brush, little bit of paint and a little bit of pressure. And we're going to make a smiley face. Have some highlights of black in his nose. Really, really light, not too dark. And then his face. And we are finished. Looks cute. Alrighty, so we're going to put this aside. And we're going to work on our vinyl now, our vinyl transfer. So make sure you have anything that would make a mess set aside from you. You can take your gloves off. Okay, so we have our vinyl transfer here. It's 3 pieces. When you pull it apart, everything should come off on what looks like masking tape. If you start pulling it off and it doesn't come up, just push it back together and pull. It is actually window vinyl because it is more durable. It's fit for being outside. Okay, so this is garbage. I'm going to put this up in the corner. Kind of eyeball it, make sure that it's where you want it to be. It's repositionable up to a point, and then you're going to smooth it down. You're going to take your credit card or your spatula, and you're going to push this down. So really the most important part is the vinyl. Just making sure I'm not moving the camera there. Okay. And then when you peel this back, you're going to roll. Don't pull. If you pull, you'll pull it right off. So you're going to roll it back. If you see a piece that starts to come up, just push it back and push it down. And you're done. Just smooth this over with your fingers. If you are going to put this outside under a covered porch, you can spray it with polyacrylic. I use clear satin. And if you are going to put it out in the elements, you can use a spar urethane, S-P-A-R. and that would be clear, non-yellowing. Thank you for joining us on the Uptiquing Paint and Ceramics YouTube channel. Follow us. We will have new videos as we create our classes, and we hope you enjoyed. Thank you.